r/AskReddit by Redmond Dtes. Therapists of Reddit, what are some differences you've noticed between male and female patients? I was a therapist for people with psychosis and schizophrenia, if that counts. Men were more likely to have God delusions. I'm God, or God speaks to me. Women were more likely to have romance delusions. Michael Jackson speaks to me, I'm Mary, and I'm pregnant by a miracle. Both had pretty equal amounts of dissociative issues. This world isn't real. Humans are being replaced by zombies. You aren't my mom. Older men will often complain of physical pain when they really have depression. I work with foster kids aged 2 to 18, therapeutic mentoring and placement stabilization. Up until like 9 or 10 or 11, there are no discernible differences. Preteen girls are more likely to seek control by refusing to see me or talk to me. Preteen boys are usually thrilled that I'm taking them out of the house. Meanwhile, teen girls are usually thrilled to have someone actually listen to what they have to say and are very open, while teenage boys will seek control by trying to make me uncomfortable. They get weirdly sexual, make inappropriate jokes, or are mean. I dated a sex therapist. She said that if a couple came, it was generally that she wanted him to read her mind and he wanted an instruction booklet. If it was a single guy who was 40 or 50, he wanted his dog to act like it did when he was 17. For me, men opened up faster. The first visit or two might be super limited, and then the floodgates open all at once. The women are more open at the start, but drop big details way slower. Men frequently schedule their first appointment because their wife or girlfriend strongly encouraged it. It's more rare for them to reach out of their own volition. I have learned that men need support and encouragement to thrive. Constant criticism is hard on a man. It causes him to lose his confidence, and in that situation he has a hard time relating to his partner. Women on the other hand need attention. They need to feel seen and heard. They don't need to be understood as much as they need to feel heard. Women don't usually accept excuses. They want acknowledgement. When a woman is not feeling seen or heard, she doesn't feel loved and has a hard time relating to her partner. Honestly, fewer differences than you'd think. Men tend to be more comfortable going to anger than women, and tend to have less of a support system and less openness about their mental health with people they care about, but that's more societal conditioning than a hard truth about the gender. I often find men to be more attached to romantic ideals than women, paradoxically. My male clients come to therapy wanting solutions, action, structure, and for me, a woman, to tell it like it is. Over time, we almost always end up going very psychodynamic, lots of talking, open-ended guiding questions, raising awareness of relational or childhood stuff, behavioral patterns, and processing the deeper stuff that they didn't think was relevant or no one gave them space to talk about before. My female clients are very high-performing, controlling, perfectionist, burned out, and trying to perform therapy and healing in a perfect way. Over time, we end up working on self-acceptance, processing anger, boundaries, values-driven action, self-image, and raising consciousness on gender roles and capitalism. And actually feeling the emotions in addition to labeling and analyzing them. Edit to add, my female clients are often very self-aware when they meet me. They know their experience, their emotions, they know how to talk about it. What they need help with is a safe relational connection, a therapist who can gently challenge them to really be honest with themselves. Growth doesn't happen without some discomfort, so we build tolerance for really looking at the self and barriers to change. 20 years ago, gender differences in therapy was an area I researched. A couple of general differences was a tendency for males to underrepresent, so they'd say they weren't feeling as bad as they were, or that they were satisfied with the therapist when they weren't, or happy with them when only moderately satisfied. The other very general point was that males presented less verbally than females. Alexithymia was also much more common in males. That inability to identify emotions and therefore to explore them without professional support was absolutely crippling for many. This was observed in session, rather than as part of traditional or structured research. I work with a lot of college students and guys always take breakups much harder and are more likely to cry about them. I heard a line from a comedian that made sense to me. Women take breakups so well because they break up with you months before they tell you. That's why they want to be friends after you're the dude that got her through her breakup with you. Gendered problems are quite common among my clients, or at least feature heavily in their clinical needs. I've seen women whose life problems are frequently attributable to beliefs, events, and relationships that are derived from patriarchal society. Or women who struggle with making friends because they find it difficult to deal with the prevalence of social aggression in female friendships, particularly autistic women. Some also tend to overgeneralize their reasonable fear of what dangers men pose to them into avoidance of men, even when they want to be in a relationship. Some struggle with the attractiveness expectations towards women, either by failing to meet them and having the body image or self-esteem consequences, or by succeeding and then finding it difficult to navigate the consequent objectification by men and women in their lives. In men, I've seen problems related to loneliness, lack of meaningful friendships, difficulties, or disinterest in expressing emotions to friends or partner, callousness in romantic relationships and views of women, likely encouraged by the manosphere internet, and fears of being a burden on society and their families, often reinforced by their wives or girlfriends' pressure on them. Some men's overgeneralized negative views of women, that is, they are too stupid or materialistic or shallow, lead to their problems in relationships across their families, friends, and partner. So this is nothing we haven't already seen on the internet. But these gender wars play out in the therapy room too. It's unfortunate because it's obvious how the systems in place create these problems, but there's not much we can directly do as therapists to treat the source. All we can do is help the individual develop skills and attitudes that buffer them against the worst of this. Therapy in turn here. One of the biggest differences I've noticed is how anger is presented. Many women I work with often feel this repressed anger that they deny themselves until it explodes out from them, or they are completely unaware that they have an anger problem. They may also deny the expression of anger for fear of being labeled sensitive or hysterical. Men, on the other hand, are conditioned that anger is the only emotion that they are allowed to present, so they often deny the depression, anxiety, and other negative emotions that inform that anger. Or they are so afraid of becoming like the other angry men in their lives that they deny themselves the expression of anger at all. In most couples I saw as a therapist, the woman wants to feel emotionally safe, while the guy wants to be appreciated for what he's doing. Also, most men don't seem to identify getting angry easily as emotional, and only think crying is emotional. More men asked if they could be put on medication, and women preferred talk therapy. As a therapist, I've noticed that men and women are all individual unique human beings who can't be pigeonholed based on gender. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more. Have a nice evening.